Local news, national news, even feel-good news. Delivering the topics that are relevant to you.
That's why I listen to Joe. He covers it all.
The Joe Kelley Show on WDBO.
All right, I do want to make a quick programming note here. Coming up next hour in the 6 o'clock hour, after taking a break for a couple of weeks, we are bringing back the Friday Night Fun and Games. So that'll be in the 6 o'clock hour. Obviously, we have a lot of important stuff to discuss, but we're gonna try to unwind as we head into the weekend next hour and chill out a little bit and just have some fun on the radio. And we invite you, our WDBO listeners, to participate. But we'll break that down for you in the next hour. This hour, though, we obviously have a lot to unpack here with regards to the indictment as it was revealed today, unsealed today, and we got a chance to see that. And I'll be really honest with you. I have been so busy. I haven't read the indictment, but I know a guy who has, and so I am going to I'm going to contract that out. At Channel 9 Eyewitness News political correspondent Christopher Heath joins us live now. Chris, I am glad that you're on the radio here with us, and I'm glad to know that you have read the 37 count indictment. Why don't you give us the view from 60,000 feet, and then we'll zoom in a little bit.
I'll break it down like this. The president left the White House. He took things with him that he shouldn't have taken. He was asked to return them. He didn't, and now we have an indictment. Pretty simple. I mean, it's just that's basically it.
But how does this differentiate from, say, Joe Biden, who took documents home, and Hillary Clinton or Barack Obama or anybody else who has taken documents?
Yeah, or Mike Pence as well. Mike Pence brought this up, during his announcement for his campaign. Well, the difference is this. So if you take something that you maybe didn't realize you weren't supposed to take, and you realize it and you return it, it's kind of like, okay, clean hands. It's like, well, you didn't mean to, you returned it, that's fine. Because, if you're the principal in this situation, this is the president, he's allowed to review these materials, and he may take them with him and not realize he has them. And if he's like, oh, I have these, I shouldn't have them, and he returns them, no harm, no foul. Or if you get contact and they say to you, well, listen, we think you may have taken some stuff you shouldn't have, and you look and you're like, oh, I didn't realize I have that, and you return it right away, no harm, no foul. What happened here, which is different than what happened with, both Joe Biden and with Mike Pence, is the National Archives came to Donald Trump and said, hey, we think you have some stuff you shouldn't have. And he said, no, I don't. And they said, no, we're pretty sure you do. You should return it. He said, no, I'm not. And that's the problem, is that he was basically given an out, didn't take it, and this is where we're at.
We've got tens of thousands of Donald Trump supporters who are tuning in right now, and they're believing, what Donald Trump says, that this is a witch hunt and this is a political, persecution and prosecution. But when you get into the specifics of the 37 count indictment, I mean, what are some of the felony indictments in there? Some of the charges. What are they? What are the ones that look really bad for Donald Trump?
Well, I mean, obstruction is kind of the biggest one, and there's a couple of them in there, and that's basically like, you stood in our way of doing our job, And this gets into, had Donald Trump behaved the way that Mike Pence or Joe Biden did and just returned documents the moment he realized it, that wouldn't be a problem. But the problem is that he didn't, and that's why we have the obstruction charge. And it all falls under the Espionage Act, which sounds bad, but it's just kind of a big, large, kind of catch-all. But that's really where we're at right now, is that, he was asked to return stuff, and he didn't. Isn't
obstruction going to be a process crime?
Obstruction is going to be a part of a process crime, and then there's other parts in it as well, which is, the fact that so him having the documents is one thing. Him revealing some of the documents to people who aren't cleared to know about them is another. And this gets into the question of, what did he tell to the people who were writing Mark Meadows' book? And did he describe what's in these documents? Did he show them to these people? Because this gets into, specific methods and specific intelligence that is classified for a reason.
We're talking to Channel 9 Eyewitness News political correspondent Christopher Heath about the indictment that was unsealed today against Donald Trump. We're told that there's a recording of a conversation in which Donald Trump reveals I have these documents. I could have declassified them, but I didn't. And we're told they had to do with perhaps a military invasion in Iran. Do you know about that?
Yeah, and listen, the military, our military, has all sorts of plans drawn up for all sorts of situations. And so the idea that we have an invasion plan for Iran, it makes sense. We should have one. Now, whether or not we're actually going to use it and how current it is irrelevant. But the military has these things in place just because, you don't want to have to need it and not have it. So the fact that it exists is kind of, we should expect that it does. The question becomes, what is the chain of custody? When Donald Trump leaves office, he no longer has the right to have that in his possession. Now, he can know about it because he was the president for 4 years, and obviously he could, as president, look at any document he wants and review it. But he can't take it with him, and that becomes the bigger issue of taking a sensitive document with you, which has either, sensitive information or sensitive, parts to it that could expose, the way we collect information, the way we use information.
Chris, as you well know, we're kind of in uncharted territory here with a former president now facing felony charges. And my understanding is if he's convicted of these charges, he could be spending the rest of his life in prison.
Yeah, and the feds don't, I don't want to confuse what's going on right now with what's happening up in New York with Alvin Bragg up there. The feds do not traditionally bring charges unless they have you dead to rights. And that is to say, the feds are under no obligation to charge anyone. They have no timeline. They really have basically unlimited resources. So if they bring charges, it is because they've done their due diligence. They know exactly what they're after and what they can prove. And that's why we're seeing, this taking so long and it getting to this point. So, yeah, if I'm the Trump legal team, I'm right now trying to figure out exactly, what's our best path forward because there's not a lot of good options.
It's funny you say that it's taken so long because in my perspective, I thought, wow, this really happened so fast. I guess it's a matter of one's perspective.
Well, it's all about, you go back to 2021 when Donald Trump leaves office, and we're now 2 years beyond that.
Sure, so I guess my clock started with the invasion of Mar-a-Lago, but you're right, it does predate that.
Yeah, and of course, the warrant getting served at Mar-a-Lago was, that was kind of the last bit of all of this, because the National Archives had been going to the Trump organization and to Donald Trump and asking for these documents before the warrant was served at Mar-a-Lago. So you almost have to predate it back to that.
And again, I go back to unprecedented and uncharted territory here. Is there any part of this that can prevent Donald Trump from continuing his campaign for president? And is there any part of this that could prevent Donald Trump from taking the oath of office if he is duly elected president?
Yes and no. So the Constitution only really stipulates a couple of things to be president. You basically have to be a citizen, you have to be a certain age. That's it. So after that, it's but now obviously if you are currently in Leavenworth serving, 25 to life, that could be a problem. So I think it's one of those questions of, what happens between now and the election. And listen, this being unprecedented, yes, we've never had a president charged like this, but, you go back, within our lifetime, Spiro Agnew resigned as vice president under the Nixon administration because of some similar charges. So there is a the rule of law does cut across everything, and it's not exactly unprecedented, but it is the first time we've ever seen a former president charged or indicted, I should say.
We're talking to Channel 9 Eyewitness News political reporter Christopher Heath. Chris, I always appreciate your time and your expertise to be able to share with our listeners. The Trump campaign, as well as I do, that they will likely fundraise, if not already, on this turn of events, and they will likely see a bump in the polls after this event. Would you agree?
Yeah, and listen, it's hard to really kind of encapsulate what this will mean going forward. I think for the people challenging Donald Trump in the GOP nomination, they're in a kind of a tough spot because they have to, speak to the base and speak about how, their feeling of this while defending the guy who is also leading in the polls. It's a tricky situation.
I saw several tweets, and I'm sure you have as well. And a lot of people are upset with Ron DeSantis. These are Trump supporters. They're upset with Ron DeSantis because he put out a tweet, condemning the indictment and saying, when I'm president, I'll make sure that the DOJ is no longer a partisan and weaponized and this, that, and the other. And people are saying, well, that's not a strong enough. It's not a strong enough condemnation from Ron DeSantis. Many are saying that he, the governor of Florida, should because the crimes are committed in Florida, he should stop this. He should put an end to this. But there's nothing that the governor could do to override felony charges.
There's absolutely nothing Ron DeSantis can do in this situation. First of all, as far as extradition, if there was to be extradition, the Alvin Bragg thing in New York, the governor of Florida has no say in that. And as far as this being felony or being federal charges, Ron DeSantis can't do anything. He can put out statements, but this is well outside of his control.
Channel 9 Eyewitness News political correspondent Christopher Heath joining us live here on the Joe Kelley Show on WDBO. Anything else, Chris, before we let you go?
No, we'll see how this thing plays itself out. I think everyone has a bad habit of getting over their skis and both, assuming it's going to be the worst or it's going to be the best. I think let's let this thing play itself out. We'll see a little bit more as we start to, learn more information about this. Obviously, the indictment being unsealed today and kind of learning some more about it helps us understand more about it. But, this thing's going to play itself out no matter what. So there's no real benefit or to getting too far ahead of ourselves. And
lastly for you, Chris, the president, the former president is expected to surrender to authorities or turn himself in. Is it Tuesday next week?
Tuesday next week down in Miami. I think that's the venue for now. We'll see if Jack Smith tries to maybe bring this up to D.C., but for now it looks like it's in Miami.
And is this one of those things where he's going to get handcuffed and mugshotted again?
It's hard to say. I doubt it. I think it's just one. You show up, you surrender, and then we move on.
But he won't be put in jail at that point. He'll bond out, or he'll be released on his own recognizance. Or
no, they're not gonna lock him up.
They're not going to take his passport.
They could,
yeah,
but I doubt it.
Yeah,
I doubt it.
Chris, it's always great to talk to you. I hope you and your family have a wonderful weekend, and we'll perhaps chat again next week about this as we learn more.
All right, thanks, Joe.
Thank you so much. That is Channel 9 Eyewitness News political correspondent Christopher Heath. My question for you, does this alter your view or your vote for Donald Trump? Does this make you want to vote for Donald Trump all that much more, to put a thumb in the eye of the swamp? Or does this make you want to not vote for Donald Trump because the donations that you may or may not give are likely going to go to legal defenses rather than his actual political campaign? 844-580-WDBO. It's 844-580-9326. You can use the open mic in the WDBO app. Does this alter your view of Donald Trump? You more likely to support him, less likely to support him? 844-580-9326. I'm Joe Kelley. You're listening to The Joe Kelley Show on WDBO.
Jesse Kelley here. If given the choice between financial stress or peace of mind, I will always choose peace of mind. In today's world filled with inflation worry, bank closures, market instability, and the current global economic environment, peace of mind is everything to me. That's why I have secured gold and silver from Oxford Gold Group. Having precious metals in your home safe or in your 401k/IRA should be considered for your investment strategy. Simply put, it's a portfolio protection plan. Whether you are a savvy investor or you are just curious how gold and silver can help you gain peace of mind, call my friends at the Oxford Gold Group. Securing your IRA or 401k with real gold and silver is as easy as 1, 2, 3. One app, one call, and you pick your precious metals. That's it. You now own real precious metals just like I do. Call Oxford Gold today and ask about exclusive free bonus opportunities. Call 833-901-COIN. 833-901-COIN. That's 833-901-COIN.
This is WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580, Orlando's news and talk.
844-580-WDBO. It's 844-580-9326. My question for you is, in light of the new information about Donald Trump, does this alter your view or vote for and about Donald Trump? You can join me at 844-580-WDBO or use the open mic in the WDBO app. Sally is up first in Florida, obviously. Hi, Sally. How are you?
I'm doing fine.
What's on your mind?
Well, I was trying to win some money, and it wouldn't let me.
Yeah, we've heard a couple people say that they had some difficulty there, and we currently have a team looking into it. That's pretty much all I know about that. Dave is checking in from St. Cloud. Hey, Dave, you're on WDBO. What's going on?
How you doing?
Very good.
Everything's good.
Good.
Yes, sir.
So what's on your mind?
If what's on my mind is it makes me want to vote for Donald Trump a whole lot more.
Yeah.
If I have to crawl with one arm and two fingers to that voting booth, I'm there.
And it's so interesting, and I know that. I mean, I'm not the only person who has suspected that this would, produce a bump in the polling numbers for Donald Trump. So it's not like I'm on the cutting edge of thought here. But what is it? What is it about every bad thing that happens to or about Donald Trump makes his supporters all that much more excited to support him?
What he did for our country and every lie that this administration and before and got away with it. It just makes us want, a justified system, equal, and it's not equal. And I think anybody that has a brain, except for some on the other side, would agree.
Well, it's interesting you say that. So I put a discussion thread up on the WDBO Facebook page in which I wrote this. Can both of the following statements be true? Donald Trump's indictment is yet another example of America's two-tiered criminal justice system, and Donald Trump's indictment is yet another example of Mr. Trump's illegal actions. I mean, can't both of those be true?
They could, but what are they? Everything is about Donald Trump, and they're scared. They're trying to keep him off the ballot.
Clearly.
So they're going to keep going and going. And you got Joe Biden. They got perfect timing. Every time something happens to him and Hunter, there's always something that comes up, and here it is.
It is absolutely breathtaking that that it's so blatantly and so obviously both Joe Biden and Hillary Clinton have committed crimes and have had zero prosecution, zero investigations. It is amazing, and I can see where or how people would come to the decision of I'm going to be even more vigilant in my support for Donald Trump because this system is out to get him. 844-580-WDBO. It's 844-580-9326. You can use the open mic in the WDBO app. We'll take more of your calls and comments next.
Weather brought to you by ProTech Air Conditioning and Plumbing Services. This is WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580, Orlando's news and talk. News, weather, traffic, all the things you want on your drive home. Plus, Joe Kelley being, Joe Kelley. Now, the Joe Kelley Show on Orlando's news and talk. WDBO.
Well, it is a Friday night. Coming up in about a half an hour from right now, we're going to bring back Friday night fun and games. We've got to unwind, man. It's been a tough week. It's been a hell of a week, my friends. I think you know that. So in the 6 o'clock hour, we're bringing back our Friday night fun and games. So be sure and join us for a little bit lighter side of the Joe Kelley Show coming up in the 6 o'clock hour. Let's get to some heavy stuff right now. You can join us at 844-580-WDBO. It's 844-580-9326 or use the open mic in the WDBO app. My question for you, with the unsealing of the 37-count felony indictment today against Donald Trump, does that make you want to run for the hills from Donald Trump? Or vote for him even more for Donald Trump. What do you think?
Well, it certainly looks like Trump's probably going to do some time. They're dead set in putting him away to stop his campaign, stop his reelection. So at this point, Trump needs to put his support behind one candidate. The candidates need to jockey for his support. My guess is going to be probably Tim Scott, and promise him a full pardon. At this point in Trump's life, he does not need to be behind bars. Just pardon the guy, and Trump can put all his support and all the MAGA followers behind one.
So, all right, so now you bring up a good point. Now, I'm going to go back to May 25th. May 25th, Governor Ron DeSantis was asked, would you pardon Trump and the January 6th protesters? And this was Ron DeSantis' answer.
I'm going to do on day one, I will have folks that will get together and look at all these cases who people are victims of weaponization or political targeting, and we will be aggressive at issuing pardons. Now, some of these cases, some people may have a technical violation of the law, but if there are three other people who did the same thing, but just in a context like BLM, and they don't get prosecuted at all, that is uneven application of justice.
All right, so DeSantis implying at least that he would grant a pardon for Donald Trump. So my second question for you tonight, do you think that RDS, Ron DeSantis, do you think that RDS should campaign on a promise to pardon Donald Trump on day one? And if so, if he did campaign on that, or frankly, if any of the Republicans campaigned on that, would that get your attention? Would that be something you'd say, all right, I love Donald Trump, but it looks bad. I'm reading the tea leaves. It might be bad for Donald Trump. So why don't we pick someone who is going to pardon Donald Trump as soon as the new president takes office? 844-580-WDBO. It's 844-580-9326. Or use the open mic in the WDBO app.
I'll vote for the Republican that actually grows a spine and calls out Trump for what he is, an idiot, for not complying with the Justice Department and simply handing over the documents. Christopher Heath just said it. He wouldn't be in this mess if he would have just done that. But since none of these Republicans have a spine or any guts, I'm not voting for any of them.
You know, it is a self-inflicted injury on Donald Trump's behalf. I mean, if he would have just turned over the documents, seemingly it would have lessened the charges against him. But look, I can see both sides of this. On the other side, the Democrats are relentless in their persecution and prosecution of Donald Trump. They will settle for nothing less than him behind bars, period. I absolutely get that.
It makes me fired up. Can't wait to vote for Trump. Let's drain that swamp. They don't know that they're just adding fuel to the fire.
I am certain that when the polling data comes out, then the next poll, they're taking polls right now. I promise you, they started polling this afternoon. And by tomorrow or the day after, certainly by Monday, we will see the poll results of what I'm certain will be a bump in support for Donald Trump after this indictment.
I will definitely vote for Donald Trump. Man, it is sad. Everything they're accusing him of. I mean, we see how Joe Biden, everything they have on him, and nothing is happening. Imagine, who could trust the Justice Department? Nobody. If they do that to him, imagine what they could do to us.
844-580-WDBO.
The Joe Kelley Show on WDBO.
Paul Cross joins us.
Stay connected with WDBO. Listen anytime, anywhere. Get the latest breaking news and share your thoughts using the open mic. Download the WDBO app powered by Burn Pad Orlando. This is where Orlando turns first for breaking news, weather, and traffic. 107.3 FM and AM 580. Orlando's news and talk. WDBO.
Hey, it's Josh from Altamont. I would only vote for Trump if he was the last Republican. I'd consider all other options first. I like his policies, but his personality is very challenging.
Yeah, and I have felt that way about him since day one. I liked his policies, but man, he just rubs me the wrong way. I know a lot of people love Donald Trump for the exact same reason he rubs me the wrong way, because he He's a real talker. He's a counterpuncher. People love that about him. I prefer diplomacy. I prefer. Look, I think you can be a true conservative. I think you can be a MAGA conservative and still have diplomacy. I don't think you have to be a jerk. I don't believe in that kind of politics. I'm not a big fan of smash mouth politics. I'm not a big fan of smashing people across the side of the head politics. I like diplomacy. But that's frankly, I see more of that in RDS than I do in DJT. I think RDS has the ability to be a little bit more diplomatic, even though he has his flashes of anger and flashes of anger and flashes of anger, particularly towards the media. I do find that Ron DeSantis is able to have a bit more of a civilized discussion than Donald Trump is able to do so. Would you support a presidential candidate, a GOP candidate? You know, if you're a Trump loyalist, but you're starting to read the writing on the wall that maybe this is not going to happen for Donald Trump, would you at least support a presidential candidate, a GOP candidate that vowed or pledged that he would, or she, Nikki Haley's in the race, if he or she would pardon Donald Trump on day one? You know, the problem, though, with pardoning Donald Trump on day one is if you don't know if on day two, prosecutors somewhere are going to charge Donald Trump with a different crime. And you can't blanket pardon someone for crimes that haven't been charged yet. So a president that succeeds Donald Trump, well, it wouldn't even succeed Donald Trump. He'd be succeeding Joe Biden. But a president who would vow to pardon Donald Trump could be in the business of multiple pardons over multiple years. Because if a Republican wins the White House, that doesn't necessarily mean that the Department of Justice is going to stop going after Donald Trump. It doesn't mean that Democrats in the Senate or the House are going to stop going after Donald Trump. I don't think that they will stop going after Donald John Trump until he is 6 feet under. And then they will continue to besmirch his legacy. There's just no two ways about this. Donald Trump did release a statement on both Truth Social and on Twitter, actually. Kind of rambling, kind of long. It's a Donald Trump statement.
Very sadly, we're a nation in decline, and yet they go after a popular president, a president that got more votes than any sitting president in the history of our country, by far, and did much better the second time in the election than the first. And they go after him on a boxers hoax, just like the Russia hoax and all of the others. This has been going on for 7 years. They can't stop because it's election interference at the highest level. There's never been anything like what's happened. I'm an innocent man. I'm an innocent person. They had the Mueller hoax, the Mueller report, and that came out. No collusion after 2.5 years. That was set up by Hillary Clinton and Democrats. But this is what they do. This is what they do so well. If they would devote their energies to honesty and integrity, it would be a lot better for our country.
You know, he's absolutely right there. Absolutely. If this was the first time that we had seen Democrats and prosecutors go after Donald Trump, then we might be shocked. But this isn't the first time. It's not even the second time or the third time that the Democrats and Democrat-led prosecutors have relentlessly gone after Donald Trump time and time and time again and have lied time and time and time again. I get why people either choose to not believe that this is a real prosecution. I mean, seriously, the 2.5 years we spent on the Russian collusion hoax, and that so many Americans still believe that Donald Trump colluded with Russians to win the election. or that Donald Trump is on the take by Russia while turning a blind eye to Joe Biden's activities. Yeah, I get it. I get why people are doubtful and suspicious of this prosecution. It does make sense to me. 844-580-WDBO. To Kissimmee we go. Brian is on the Joe Kelley Show. Hey, Brian.
Joe, how's it going, buddy?
Good.
Hey, on this stuff with Trump, man, I'm a Trump supporter, mainly for his policies. Yeah, it's old because he's been the same way since the 80s.
Yeah.
When he was a real estate mogul. He is what he is.
He is.
It is what it is.
Yep.
But the bottom line is you cannot – nobody, I don't care if you're Democrat or not, you're going to deny it, but you can't deny that he was good for this country for 4 years. COVID was a bad thing that happened during his presidency. I get it. But the bottom line is you're right about one thing. They're going to come after him until he's 6 feet under, and even then they're going to keep trying. So I would vote for Pee Wee Herman before I voted for anybody on the Democratic side.
Now, what if a different Republican candidate vowed to pardon Trump day one?
That's great if they do, but if they don't, that's fine. It's fine. I wish they would, because the man's done nothing wrong. Okay, so they're trying to get Trump about all these papers at Mar-a-Lago. What about Biden? He had him in his Corvette.
And honestly, I would say even if Joe Biden wins re-election, oh, heaven forbid Joe Biden win re-election.
Oh, help us.
If I was Joe Biden, I would pardon Donald Trump. Because first of all, it's your last term, so you don't have to worry about re-election. But the idea of an American president sitting in jail for the rest of his life is a really bad look for the United States of America. It is a really bad look for the principles of freedom and liberty. I just think that is terrible optics for America to have a former president sitting in jail in perpetuity or for the rest of his life. Brian, love you, man. So glad you called. Tell everybody in Kissimmee we said hi. 844-580-WDBO. Use the open mic and the WDBO app. Look for the Joe Kelley Show podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Maybe you get it in your on Spotify, or you get it on the Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get it. Look for the Joe Kelley Show. And give it a like, give it a follow, give it a review. We'd appreciate that. We'll continue with more of your calls and comments straight ahead.
Do you have a real estate planner? You may have a financial and an estate planner, but do you have a real estate planner? You should. Hi, Cleve Loveland, Central Florida's voice of real estate. For over 50 years, Loveland Properties has helped Central Floridians plan their housing needs. Are you looking for your big dream home? Or is it time to sell your big dream home and downsize? Looking for 5 bedrooms, a 5-car garage, or 5 acres? Are you golf front and want lakefront? Looking for 5 rentals to pay you $10,000 a month, or just 1 rental to pay $10,000 a month? 1031 exchanges? We do that. Are you a financial planner or estate planner? It's important to have an experienced professional guide you or your clients through the process of selling, buying, and managing real estate, all with a solid plan that meets your financial goals. With 50 years of experience, we've seen what works and what doesn't in real estate. Call Loveland Properties, 407-352-8118. That's 407-352-8118. Or visit lovelandreport.com. Join us every Saturday at noon for the Loveland Report.
Register now for our Generational Wealth Seminar or our Home Selling Seminar coming up soon.
Connected to our community. Talk local issues and events with Joe Kelley. Use the open mic in the WDBO app and let Joe know what interests you. The Joe Kelley Show on WDBO.
I'm so glad you're joining us here on WDBO. My name is Joe Kelley. Coming up in the next hour, it's going to be our Friday night fun and games, so I hope you'll stick around for that.
Hi, Joe. Nancy from Titusville again. I vowed several years ago to never vote for a Democrat as long as I live. And I will vote for whoever is the Republican nominee. Take care. Bye.
Right. Thank you so much. All right, let's go to Orlando. Bob is on WDBO. Hey, Bob, how are you? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Thank God the weekend's here, considering what the breaking news was earlier today.
Right.
I'm a U.S. Navy veteran, okay? I come from a family of people who served in the military, and we've defended this country and And defense of this country also means the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, even more importantly. And to have what happened today, I was on the fence between DeSantis and Trump because they both have conservative principles. And, I voted, but after what happened this morning, I'm biting my tongue here because I realize this is a public airway.
Thank you.
Yes. I will say, firstly, let's go, Brandon. You know what that stands for?
Of course, you don't need to explain that.
Okay,
Bob. I've got 10. I've got 10 seconds.
Okay, now I'm going to vote for Trump, just as a defiance to the establishment that pulled this stunt, and I'm going to send him money. I voted for him twice. I'm going to do it for a third time with pride.
Bob, thank you so much, and thank you for your service in the United States Navy. Go Navy. I'm Joe Kelley. Our Friday night fun and games. It's coming up next. Stay with us.
The Joe Kelley Show on WDBO. Now, WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580. Triple Team Traffic.
Still have that crash in Seminole County, State Road 46 at Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard in Sanford. Also a crash on Orange Blossom Trail at Lancaster and one at University and Bibb. And heavy delays I-4 westbound into downtown, Sand Lake to 535 and Osceola Parkway to 532. ProTech Air Conditioning and Plumbing Service for honesty, integrity, and 100% customer satisfaction. Call ProTech 407-291-1644 or visit ProTechAC.com. From the WDBO Triple Team Traffic Center, I'm Paul Cross.
Weather brought to you by ProTech Air Conditioning and Plumbing Services. This is WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580, Orlando's news and talk. Insightful.
You tell the truth from your point of view.
Entertaining.
Man, that guy is a lot taller than he sounds on the radio.
And engaging.
When we hear you on the radio, it's a good thing.
The Joe Kelley Show on WDBO.
Well, it's a Friday night, and for the last couple of weeks, we have skipped Friday night fun and games, but we are bringing it back tonight. Our Friday night fun and games. Man, and the concept is this. It's been a long week. Everybody's tired. It's a Friday. We're heading into the weekend. It's hot. And we just want to have some fun on the radio. Not that every other day isn't already fun on the radio. I'm telling you, if you ever get offered a radio job, take it, because being on the radio is really, really fun. All right, so we're gonna do some trivia tonight. Our contestants are as follows. There's Laurel. Hello, Laurel.
Hello there.
All right, very good. We have Arushi, who is on. Arushi's doing double duty tonight. She is on the flight deck. She is controlling the board tonight, the main console. Through which all audio goes. She is ultimately in charge tonight. So Arushi is not only doing that, but she's playing our games with us. Hello, Arushi.
Hello.
We have Paul Cross, of course, our esteemed traffic reporter, Paul Cross, hey, PC.
Esteemed, hey.
Yes. And then we go to the phones where Chris, a WDBO listener, joins us. Hi, Chris.
What up?
Chris, we have plucked him from obscurity. He is a regular member of our chat room on the WDBO Facebook page. And as I was looking through people, and I know that you've called in before, I said, let me pick Chris, and he'll be able to play with us. And if anybody wants to play while you're in the chat, if you want to join the chat, by all means, please do so. It's on the WDBO Facebook page. It's live video. You can see the faces behind the voices. You can see which ones of us are good looking and which ones of us are not good looking. Your mileage may vary as to which is which, but check it out right now on the WDBO Facebook page. Is everybody ready?
I'm honored. Thank you.
I'm glad you're here, Chris. All right, so this first round is going to be a speed round. Are you guys ready for a speed round? So I just want, and no Googling. If I see fingers on keyboards, if I hear keyboards clicking, if I see someone holding their phone, Paul Cross, y'all are going to be in big trouble. That goes for you too, Chris, on the phone. So no Googling, speed round. Give me the first answer that comes to the top of your head. You ready? Everybody ready? Ready to go?
Go.
Question number one. Laurel, how long, and that's the order we're going to go in, so wait till I call your name before you give the answer. How long did the 100 Years' War last? Laurel.
100 years.
Rushi.
100 years.
Paul.
I'll go with 100. Why not?
Chris.
100, of course.
It lasted 116 years.
Well, that's a trick.
Yeah, that's a I feel tricked.
So it should be the 116-year war.
One would think, yes, but it doesn't. Evidently, it doesn't work. I don't write the history books, okay? So
I'm glad that I'm not the only one that was wrong this time, though.
Michael in our chat room said 50 years. At least he understood the concept. All right, question number 2. Are you ready, Laurel? What country makes Panama hats? Laurel.
Panama.
Arushi, what country makes Panama hats?
I don't know. China?
Paul, what country makes Panama hats?
I'm going to go with Panama.
Chris, what country makes Panama hats?
Japan.
The answer is Ecuador.
That's dumb.
This is going really well so far.
Are you starting to understand the concept? Are you understanding the trivia now? Are you getting this?
Yeah.
Okay. Question number 3. From which animal do we get catgut? Laurel.
Dingoes.
Arushi.
Tigers.
Paul.
Heck, I don't know. I'll go with dingoes because I don't know.
Chris.
I actually know this one. Sheep or goat.
Wow, that's right. That is absolutely right. Okay, bonus points for anybody, and I'm not going to call your name, but bonus points for anybody who can tell me what catgut actually is.
Medicine? I don't know.
Chris, I feel like you would know since you know where catgut comes from.
It is medicine.
Yeah, it can be used in medicine. There was once a time in which all tennis rackets...
Sutures.
Tennis rackets had catgut.
I did hear about the tennis rackets.
Yeah. So I don't know if it's still, I don't think.
Sutures and.
Even violin strings at one point were catgut. So there you go. All right. Your next question, Laurel. In which month do Russians celebrate the October Revolution?
February.
Arushi, what month do Russians celebrate the October Revolution?
April.
Paul, what month do Russians celebrate the October Revolution?
October.
Chris, what month do Russians celebrate the October Revolution?
September.
The correct answer is November. Paul in the chat room got it right. Good job, Paul. We can't verify that he didn't Google that, though. Question number 5, Laurel.
Dang it.
What is a camel's hair brush made of? Laurel.
Horsehair.
What is a camel's hair brush made of? Arushi.
I thought I knew the answer, but I could be wrong. Is it dog hair?
What is a camel hair brush made of? Paul.
I'm very boring here. Camel.
Chris, what is a camel hair brush made of?
Sheep.
The correct answer is, and this is crazy, squirrel. Squirrel.
No, I didn't.
If I keep going with the obvious, I'm going to get it right at least one time this hour. I think you're going to come back and trick us. So
you will not.
I don't think so.
You will not get one right, Paul. I promise you.
Well, if I don't know the answer, I'm going with that obvious thing.
Now, what I did, I rehearsed these questions on another colleague, Josh, earlier, and then Josh posed the question of, what exactly is a camel's hair brush? Is it a brush that you brush camels with, or is it a brush that is made of camels? And neither. Evident. Actually, I don't know what you use a camel hair brush for. Do you brush your hair with it? Nobody has any idea.
Is it one of those things you brush on before you do a shave or something?
Biden uses it to brush his leg hairs.
Joe Biden.
Well, first of all, you have to have leg hairs in order to brush it with. So,
all right,
you never know.
I love this next question. Number 6. The Canary Islands in the Pacific are named after what animal? Laurel.
Turtles.
The Canary Islands in the Pacific are named after what animal? Arushi.
Birds.
The Canary Islands in the Pacific are named after what animal? Paul.
The platypus.
The Canary Islands in the Pacific are named after what animal? Chris.
A monkey.
The correct answer is...
Oh, wait, it's flamingos, right?
The correct answer is dogs. The Canary, as in canine, that's where the Canary Islands get their name. Question
Can we give Chris his trophy already and just go on? He's got one right.
He's the only one. He is the only one that has got one right. Question
because
number...
that's the only medical question you had. Sorry.
Question number 7. What was King George VI's first name? Laurel.
Jacob.
What was King George VI's... I can't say that, so I'm just going to say, what was King George's first name? Arushi.
Henry.
What was King George's first name? Paul.
George.
You really are stubborn, aren't you?
I really have no idea, so I have nothing to say.
What is King George's first name, Chris?
Edward.
You guys are actually pretty good guesses there. His first name was Albert. Question number 8. Laurel, what color is a purple finch?
Blue.
Arushi, what color is a purple finch?
Red.
Paul, what color is a purple finch?
Violet.
Chris, what color is a purple finch?
I'm going to go with blue.
The correct answer is pink and or crimson.
Well, Rushi said red.
Yeah,
so.
I said red. I should give half point to me.
I'm going to give Arushi a point. So
Yay.
All right, so it's tied now, Arushi and Chris. All right.
Uh-oh.
The second to the last question. We only have 10 questions. Question number 9. Where are Chinese gooseberries from? Laurel.
The Canary Islands.
Arushi, where are Chinese gooseberries from?
The Panama Canal.
Paul, where are Chinese gooseberries from?
China.
What the hell, man?
Somebody has to say camel hair brush.
Where are Chinese gooseberries from? Chris.
Taiwan.
The correct answer, New Zealand. And the last question, and this is the one that I think you guys might have a chance with, okay? I saved the easiest for last. What is the color of the black box in a commercial airline? Laurel.
Red.
Arushi, what is the color of the black box in a commercial airline?
White.
Paul, what is the color of the black box in a commercial airline?
It's a bright color.
Oh.
Just teal.
I know. Oh, wait, I think...
No, you don't get to come back, Arushi.
Fine.
Chris, what is the color of the black box in
Orange.
I'm sorry?
Orange.
That was my guess.
No, that was not your guess.
No, that was my second guess.
You don't get a second guess.
I telepathically gave it to Chris. I should get a point for that.
I cannot believe that only one of you got the answer right, and that was Chris.
I mean, they got to see it. They got to be able to find it, right?
It's like
I knew it was a bright color.
It is famously orange. I mean, it's so famous that the black box is orange. Well, Chris, congratulations. You have won. What's your shirt size, if I may be so bold?
I'm a big boy.
That's okay. We got big
3X.
boys. 3X? All right. Wait, are you slapping your belly? Is that what just happened?
Yep.
In a radio
first. Joe is so astute with what's going on in the background. We ought to have a whole show around Joe. What is this sound?
What is the sound? The mystery sound, but it's got to be in the background because I don't hear it unless it's in the background. So, Chris, I want you to hold on for a second. We're gonna put you on hold. I'm gonna mail you a WDBO T-shirt, which I'm going to have to sneak into my boss's office here during the next break and swipe one out of his office because we don't have a budget for prizes here on this show. So don't nobody tell Keith that I'm going to sneak into his office and get a T-shirt, okay?
To tell you what kind of budget we have here, Chris, you will have one more WDBO T-shirt than I do.
That's right. Yes, we are very, very low budget. Chris, I'm so glad you played with us tonight. Hold on, we do want to get some information from you so we can mail you a shirt. And thank you so much, man. I'm so glad you listen. I'm glad you join us in the chat room every night there on the WDBO Facebook page. That's pretty awesome. Chris, have a great weekend. Thank you so much. Oh, I think he's already on hold. Yes, he is. All right, very good. 6:18 right now. Coming up, our next questions here on Fun and Games Night. It's not going to be a speed round anymore. We're going to get into moral dilemmas. Moral dilemmas. We're going to find out just how moral this team is or how immoral this team is. Oh, my. So hang on. Actually, keep Chris with us. Yeah, he doesn't get to go home just yet. We need him for, longer. We need more people. All right, so we'll continue our Friday night fun and games with morality questions coming up next on WDBO.
The Joe Kelley Show on WDBO. The Joe Kelley Show on WDBO. Your next chance to win the WDBO payroll payout of $1,000 happens Monday at 8 a.m. during Orlando's morning news. Just listen for the keyword and then tap the payroll payout button in the WDBO app.
$1,000. $1,000.
Get paid just for listening to WDBO.
This is awesome.
All right, it is Friday night fun and games. And by the way, we had a couple of questions about the camel hair brush. So let me do this. Hey, Google, what is a camel hair brush used for?
According to Wikipedia, the brushes barbers use to remove the loose hairs from the back of the customer's neck can be camel hair. They are also the preferred brushes for surgeons, dentists, and jewelers.
That's interesting. They say that the soft bristles on it are used on archaeological sites and stuff like that. Literally, in the last 5 minutes, I've become an expert on camel hair brushes because of our trivia question that dealt with camel hair brushes. So there you go. And they are, in fact, made of squirrel hair, sometimes with a combination of squirrel, goat, ox, pony, or a blend of those hairs. Isn't that weird? They use so many. Like, does that mean that someone somewhere has a squirrel farm where all?
Can I ask a stupid question? What is a horsehair brush made out of?
Hey Google, what is a horsehair
horse?
brush made out of?
On the website thestreet.com, they say, as mentioned earlier, horsehair brushes are brushes made out of the hair of a horse.
Oh.
Do you want a little more context?
No, I do not.
So
well, that's
no such
interesting.
thing as squirrel hair brushes. It's not squirrel hair brushes. It's camel hair brush.
So then someone somewhere is peeling the fur off of a horse to be able to use. Oh, Chris is back with us. Hey, Chris.
Hey, yeah. So that's why it's all different colors when you go to the barber.
That's why the brushes are different colors?
Yeah. They have different colors of hair.
Chris knows a lot more about this than we do, clearly. You're in the medical field?
Yes.
Yeah.
But I didn't know about camel hair brushes.
Well, good. I'm glad at least you didn't know about something because you seem to know a lot about everything else. So, okay, listen, we got our next phase here of our Friday night fun and games is a little bit more difficult because it's no longer just trivia questions. It is morality questions, all right?
Don't worry, I'll get these ones wrong, too.
There is no wrong answer.
No matter what I do, I can't seem to get an answer right no matter what the game is.
There is no wrong answer when it comes to scruples questions or morality questions. Here's question number 1. You receive a package in the mail that was not for you. Inside the package is something that you've wanted to buy for quite some time, but you couldn't afford it. Do you return the package or keep it for yourself? Laurel?
I open the package? That's not my package. Why'd I open it?
I'm sorry, the outside of the package clearly shows what's inside the package.
Bad business. No, I give it back.
Arushi?
I have opened packages that were not mine.
And have you kept things?
I currently use the mascara that I found, and it is amazing mascara.
Oh, wow.
I love it. Great marketing.
What about you, Paul?
No, I return it. If I really want it bad enough, I need to buy it.
Chris, what about you?
So I've had packages from Amazon delivered to me that I didn't order and with my name on it. And then I open it and it's nothing I ordered. And then I call Amazon and they say, keep it. So I would keep it in that sense of things.
You know, that is really interesting, Chris, because I will tell you that I have done the same thing. We got an Amazon shipment that was shaped like a big picture frame. That the outside of the box was, and I was like, well, now I need to know what's inside this. Honestly, it would not have mattered what shape the box was in. I still would have been curious what was inside of it. And I opened it up, and it was a canvas photograph. It was a photograph on wrapped canvas. and it was not a photograph at all that I was remotely interested in. And then I regretted instantly opening the box because now I got to do something with it. Now it's like, well, do I repackage it and give it back, or do I just throw it away, or whatever the case may be? But I certainly did one of those two things. I either repackaged it or I threw it away.
If you're already going to commit a sin, just enjoy it.
I definitely did one of those two things. It was a picture of a boat. I don't need a picture of a boat that I don't own in my home. Hang on.
Well, if it was a picture of Martha Stewart, you would have kept it.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely so. Yes, definitely. All right, my name is Joe Kelley. Along with our entire cast of characters here, we'll continue. Our last half of the Friday Night Fun and Games comes up next. Stay with us.
Weather brought to you by ProTech Air Conditioning and Plumbing Services. This is WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580, Orlando's news and talk. Breaking news to lively debates, covering the issues that matter to you.
I make it a point to listen to Joe Kelley when I need to fully understand what's happening in the news.
Now, the Joe Kelley Show on Orlando's news and talk, WDBO.
Oh, my gosh, we had history in the making today as a former U.S. president indicted on 37 felony counts of federal crimes could quite literally be looking at spending the rest of his life in jail. We, here on a Friday night, have decided to cast all that aside and play games instead and have fun. Because it is Friday, and we all understand that you guys work so hard during the week, and you're balancing and juggling between having a job and the kids and maintaining your home and everything that goes on. It's just tiring by the end of the week. We're all excited. It's the weekend. So we try to lighten things up on a Friday as you're heading home, and we instead play a little fun and games. So we're doing... I say fun and games, but we're doing right now scruples questions or morality questions. And joining us are, of course, Laurel Lee. Hello, Laurel.
Hello.
We've got Arushi, who's on the control board tonight.
Hi.
Paul Cross, who's checking our traffic. Hey, PC.
Hey, yo.
We've got our listener, Chris, who is joining us from Deltona. Hello, Chris.
Still here.
And then there's me,
Still
Joe.
here.
There's me, Joe Kelley. All right, we're in the morality questions, and these are going to be some tough ones, I do believe. Here's your question. You're in a foreign third world country. You see a man hitting a woman. What do? Do you step in or do you simply mind your own business, Laurel?
I wait to see if somebody else is going to step in and eventually do something.
Okay, we call that the bystander syndrome.
Yeah.
Arushi.
Step in 1,000%, not even a question.
You know what? It doesn't surprise me about you. Paul.
I whip out my phone and hope it goes viral. No, I get in between.
At first, I thought when you said whip out your phone, I thought you were going to call 911, but I didn't realize viral's even better. Yeah. Chris, what would you do?
Absolutely, I would step in. That's not cool.
Did you guys not hear the first part about being a foreign third world country?
I am not worried about
Doesn't matter
that.
where I'm at.
Really? That kid in North Korea died in jail for taking a flag.
You know what? You have a better chance of getting shot by jumping in the middle of something here in America than you do over in a third world country.
I might agree with you, but I think you got a better chance of getting stabbed in a third world country.
Well, I've been in third world countries a lot my entire life, so I feel like I'm used to it, so I think I'd be okay. But again, if you're not used to it, I can see the fear.
All right, here's your next question. Are you ready? They only get harder from here. If you were given the chance, would you kill baby Hitler? Laurel?
No.
That's it?
There's a butterfly effect, man. I'm not messing with that.
Arushi?
I'm going to say no.
Paul?
No.
Chris?
No. I mean, it's history. We can't take it away or change it. So.
Really?
You'd say yes?
No, hang on. But I would at least think about it. I mean, I would at least, what if instead of, nobody wants to kill a baby, right? Nobody wants to kill a baby. But if you were there in the bunker with Adolf Hitler at the end of World War II, you would be happy to take the pistol that he killed himself with and kill him, right? I mean, you would kill you would kill World War II Hitler if given the chance,
well,
right?
knowing that he's going to end up committing suicide anyways, yes.
Okay, let me rephrase
But
that.
do you
let me rephrase that. Hang on.
You think that as a baby he was evil? No.
Let me rephrase that. So before the Holocaust, so in that era between Hitler's rise to power and before he slaughtered 6 million Jews, would you, if given the chance, pistol in your hand, you and he are alone in a room, would you shoot him?
No. No.
I don't. The butterfly effect, man. I don't know.
Yeah. Can't do it.
I just feel like, and as awful as it was, there was stuff that was
messing
learned.
with a lot of things in the future.
Right.
That's really.
Yeah. What
Who
else
knows?
would
Somebody
happen?
else might be him.
Why am I the only one that's twisted on this? So,
because, Joe Kelley, you're forgetting to realize that the United States didn't become a superpower until after World War II. So,
well, how is that relevant to whether or not I want to kill Hitler?
I suppose you just don't want the U.S. to become the superpower.
Oh, don't put that on me.
Oh, Joe Kelley, you unpatriot.
So what if instead of killing baby Hitler, you just maim baby Hitler?
I think the better question would have been, if we had allowed baby Hitler to paint, would we have done that? Because I would allow baby Hitler to go to art school.
Well, he tried to get into art school,
That's
but
the whole point.
It didn't work out.
I know, but if we had let him go to art school, maybe he wouldn't have.
Right. So
evil.
you're saying that if we would have introduced baby Hitler to paints and art materials at an earlier stage in life, so instead of killing him, we should give him paintbrushes and paints.
And then that way he can get good enough to get into art school, and he wouldn't be like evil.
I really thought
so narcissistic.
I really thought some of you guys would want to kill baby Hitler. Especially you, Laurel. I thought you would have.
I've watched enough sci-fi, man. I know what it does when you mess with time.
All right. One of your best friends just committed a crime. My gosh, for a lot of us, this could be a true story. One of your best friends just committed a crime. He robbed a bank and stole a huge amount of money. Do you tell the police, Laurel?
No, but they're buying me drinks forever.
Wow. Arushi?
Yes, I have done this.
Paul?
No.
No, you don't tell the police?
Believe it or not. Nope. No, I just...
Chris?
They'll find him.
No. Give me a cut.
So...
They're going to buy me out.
So here's what I would do. I would tell the guy, you've got two options here. Either you go to the police and confess, or I go to the police and tell them. I would give them the opportunity to confess first, and if they didn't do the right thing, then I would absolutely turn them in.
That's what I did.
Can I interject something here? If it was robbing a bank and no one got hurt, I would turn myself around. I would tell them, you're on your own. I'm out. They're going to catch up with you soon. If the person killed somebody, then I would take action against them.
Okay, let me give you a different scenario similar, okay? It's a banking. Okay. So you're an eyewitness to a crime. A man has robbed a bank. But instead of giving the money or keeping the money for himself, he donates it to a poor orphanage that can now afford to feed, clothe, and care for its kid. It's the Robin Hood effect. You know he committed the crime. If you go to the authorities with that information, the money is going to be returned to the bank, leaving those kids in need. What do you do?
I still turn him in.
I don't.
Paul, you're not going to turn him in? Chris, you're not going to turn him in?
No.
Nope.
Wow.
Am I the only one who will?
Arushi, you got to turn him in and then start a GoFundMe page for the poor orphanage there.
I also would turn. Okay, all right, you guys ready? Hang on. Do I have time? What does my clock say this hour? I have to look at the instructions.
No, we do not have time.
Okay, we don't have time. Okay, so coming up next, though, honestly, I think this might be the best question. Of course, I say that every time, but I think this might be the best morality question. And hang on, we're going to have it for you next. Stay right where you are. Look for the Joe Kelley Show podcast. Wherever you get your podcast, you can find the Joe Kelley Show Facebook page. We post all kinds of stuff there for you to see. Just search Facebook for the Joe Kelley Show. That's it. And we'll continue coming up next.
The Joe Kelley Show on WDBO. Now, the three big things you need to know.
Three.
The Belmont Stakes is set to take place tomorrow in New York. Horses began to once again work out on the track at Belmont Park today. New York Governor Hochul paused workouts at the track yesterday due to poor air quality because of the smoke from the Canadian wildfires. Two. Attorneys for New York Congressman George Santos claim that revealing the names of the people who bailed him out would backfire on those who helped him. Santos pleaded not guilty to wire fraud, money laundering, theft of public funds, and lying to Congress. A judge ordered Santos to identify the 3 people who raised his $500,000 bail. One. The Department of Justice is formally announcing charges against former President Trump. The charges are related to Trump's handling of classified documents. The DOJ said that the former president stored classified info, including U.S. nuclear programs and defense and weapon capabilities.
This is WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580, Orlando's news and talk.
It's our Friday night fun and games. My name is Joe Kelley. This is the Joe Kelley Show. We've got joining us tonight Laurel, Arushi, Paul, Chris, who's one of our listeners, and me. Hi. Hey, I'm Joe. Okay, are you ready for this question? If you're just joining us, we're doing morality questions. We're trying to get deep into people's psyche and find out what kind of people are. Okay. Here is your next question. You are an EMT, an emergency medical technician, on the scene of a car crash that involves your spouse and the lover you didn't know your spouse had. They're both gravely injured. Your spouse's injuries are the worst of them. You can tell that it's unlikely your spouse will pull through. Meanwhile, your spouse's lover has a neck wound that will prove fatal if pressure isn't applied soon. Who do you choose to work on? Laurel. Because you got a spouse. You got a spouse you're angry with because you just found out your spouse is cheating on you.
But you say that they're probably not going to survive either way, even if I do go work on them.
Your spouse's injuries are the worst of them. You can tell that it's unlikely he or she will pull through.
Then,
so you're gonna work on the person who was with your spouse?
Yes.
Paul says yes. I mean, if I know I can save them.
If you are an EMT, you've already taken the oath to save a life, right? To do that,
true.
You can't make that deduction of geez.
Oh, you sure you can. If it's your wife or husband that's right there, you can.
And
he's got an artery spurting blood out. I'm gonna go for that, and hopefully I'm not the only one on the scene.
Arushi, what are you gonna do?
I'm not on the clock, so sorry, guys. Both of you are.
No, you are on the clock. You're an EMT on the scene of a car crash.
Oh, then I will obviously go for my husband first.
Really?
Even though he's going to die? He's going to die.
Well, isn't it
Even
true
though he
that you
cheated on you?
No, listen. Isn't it true that as an EMT, you're always supposed to go and fix the person who is most at injured first?
Right, so it's called triage. You try to figure out which person is salvageable, which person is not.
Yeah, so plausible deniability, guys. Come on.
But you can tell he's dying.
Well, hang on. Chris is in the medical field. I don't know exactly what, but Chris, what would you do in that situation?
Well, I was an EMS forever, but it's a rough one. But if you had to triage them, like you said, I would go for the one that's worst off right now.
So that would be your spouse.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
But dang, man,
I know, right? Hey, Chris, we don't have time for me to answer the question. What a shame. All right, Chris, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Look for your T-shirt. It's already in the mail. Laurel, great job. Paul, great job. Arushi, great job. Joe Kelley, meh. Have a great weekend, a safe weekend. We love you guys, and we can't wait to see you back here on the radio Monday at 5 here on WDBO.